If any one of you hasn't turned 50 before, you should listen to this. I just turned 50 2 days ago, and I know this very well. It is a very profound psychological threshold. Like I said in the previous video, I felt this feeling and I was already grieving from 3 years before 50 at 47. The months leading to 50 and the week leading to 50, I was very discombobulated. In fact, there was this sense of impending doom. I don't know if those who are past 50 understand what I'm saying, but those who are younger than me will never understand this feeling. So I remember when I turned 12, when I turned 18, when I turned 21. Those were the times where I felt this feeling of expansion. You don't know what is going to happen with your life. I'm sure those listening will understand if you're 18, for example. You really don't know. There's a sense of this horizon ahead of you for you to create. It truly is a blank canvas. It is very scary, but it is a blank canvas. And the energies within are that of, at least for me, creation. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to succeed in creating, but there's this whole length, this whole duration in front of me, and I know I have to make something of it. And then when you hit 30, when I hit 30, there was still this sense of expansion, but much slower. It was a non-event for me because I don't make a big deal of birthdays, but I knew I had stepped into my 30s. And I know, and I can speak for many people, who when they step into their 40s, you're more established. It's not like you're Elon Musk and you've built an empire and established, but you know yourself better, you know the direction you are headed towards, or you have more or less arrived. And I wouldn't say for everyone, but there's a sense of security. It may not be financial, but there is a sense of security in self. 50, it's a sense of finitude. Finitude means no longer that infinite, and a word for it would be limitation, a shorter runway. I think there are two aspects to this. One of it would be energy, because I can definitely feel less bountiful in energy. In my 40s, I actually felt bountiful. The last years of my 40s, I started feeling this shrinking. It's like, where's the energy? Recovery takes longer, maybe less ambition even, and more acceptance. You can say it's a good thing. But this feeling of shrinking, this feeling of reduction in intensity. And the second aspect of it in terms of finitude is duration. You feel the shortening runway. If I take 80 years old as the entire lifetime, and 40s is half of my life. And at 50, you have already used up 25% of your second half. And if you discount the last 25%, which is like 70 to 80, that means you have 2 decades more of a healthful life, barring any big medical event. And also taking into account that these 2 decades will be a little slower than, say, the 2 decades from your 20s to your 40s. So it's kind of discouraging. And that's why I had a lot of anxiety and grief just heading towards 50. I must also state that because I don't have children and am less busy in parenthood, I have had time to reflect and think about it. And I'm sure even parents have time to think about it, but I do have a lot of time to think about it and even pre-grieve it. Which also explains why the few months and the 1 week before turning 50, my body was, I wasn't sleeping well, and it was unconscious. So two aspects of finitude. Number one is intensity has dropped. Number two is the duration. The runway has shortened. And you can think of it as the y-axis and the x-axis, both getting shorter. What do you think?